The biggest issues facing further education students today are probably absolutely to do with finance. So whether that's the change from education maintenance allowance and adult learner grants to bursary payments, or the introduction of further education loans for adults studying level 3 and above. I think one of the biggest issues coming up will be about how we can ease the financial burden on students in further education. So in my first year, which is just coming to an end as Vice President of Further Education at NUS, we've been running campaigns in further education around improvements to teaching and learning. So we're not just looking to defend further education, but to defend the best quality of further education possible, and also campaigning against the introduction of full cost fees and loans in further education, and against the cuts to enrichment funding, which have given students from the most socially disadvantaged backgrounds opportunities to access extracurricular activities that help them progress both into jobs and into higher education. And hopefully, I guess what we really want to achieve is fair access for everybody to further education, regardless of their age or their background, and that further education gives them the best possible opportunities in life, particularly given the economic circumstances we're in at the moment. I think that there are some really key things that managers and people running information services in further education colleges can do to support learners, and that's particularly around ensuring in this kind of new, free and flexible environment in further education that things are as consistent as possible for FE students, but also ensuring that they're as simple to understand and that processes are transparent for students to access their education as easily as possible. When we constantly see more and more barriers being put in the way of students accessing further education, like having to apply for loans, what we need is for providers to be very aware of that and to be making allowances as much as possible to ensure that students can still access further education. And I think a really big part of that is speaking to students about how they can improve services locally, and because things will be different from one provider to the next, and they need to be acutely aware of what their students' needs are and responding to those. And there's not really a one-size-fits-all, but my advice would absolutely be to go and ask your students what they can do to support them.